Kari Lake is showing patriots across the country how to stand up and fight back against the establishment. We're going to look at the latest bombshell lawsuit to be dropped by the Kari Lake campaign, and we're going to see what courts have just done in just the last couple of years to overturn contested elections. You're not going to want to miss this. Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake has officially filed a massive lawsuit against Maricopa County election officials, a lawsuit alleging that the widespread problems and disruptions experienced on Election Day were indeed enough to change the outcome of her gubernatorial race against Arizona Secretary of State Katie Hobbs. Now, while the lawsuit has been generally derided and dismissed by the legacy media, outlets like The Federalist are pointing to the suit's very specific contestation that's well within the parameters of Arizona law. The legal scholar Robert Barnes has noted that, according to Arizona law, established for well over a century by the Arizona Supreme Court, there's no need to prove that fraud or maladministration of an election took place. All one has to actually do is show that there were irregularities, mishaps, mistakes, omissions, or other issues that bring the election outcome into doubt. And that's so key here. Kari Lake does not have to legally prove that there was any fraud or any intentional mismanagement or any other shenanigans. All she has to do is show that there were indeed irregularities, mistakes, mishaps, and other issues that inordinately affected the outcome of the election. And this is precisely what the lawsuit does. So I see little reason for anyone, especially those in the legacy media, who claim that they alone are the gatekeepers and the standard bearers of reliable information. I see no reason to simply dismiss this case with such arrogant derision. It centers on the following. First and foremost, signature mismatches. The suit alleges that Maricopa County election officials permitted the counting of tens of thousands of mail-in and drop box ballots that did not satisfy signature verification requirements, including allowing tens of thousands of ballots with signature mismatches. Now, this according to eyewitness testimony. What has to be done, as I understand it, is that the signature that's on the envelope of the mail-in ballot when it's received at the election place, it has to match the signature that's on file with the voter registration. The signature on file is apparently a very hard one to get access to, so it's considered an objectively reliable verifying source for the signature on the envelope. So according to eyewitness testimony as detailed in this filing, a number of identified mismatches identified by poll workers, were actually overturned by someone higher up the supervisory chain, as it were. And so this accounts for tens of thousands of ballots being suspect, which of course can be easily verified, right? This is wholly objective here, unless of course the envelopes have been thrown away. But regardless, the mail-in vote itself has a signature on it, can be objectively verified or falsified based on the signature on the file with the voter registration. Now, given that they're alleging this involved tens of thousands of ballots, and given the fact that Kari Lake and Katie Hobbs are only separated, I believe it's under 20,000, this charge alone is enough to question the integrity of the election process. But then, of course, there's a second allegation, and that's the issue of ballot custody. According to the filing, attorneys allege that Maricopa County officials violated Arizona chain of custody laws for hundreds of thousands of mail-in ballots. With no chain of custody, there is no way to tell whether over 300 ballots cast in Maricopa County are legal ballots. And again, this is key. This is absolutely key. Robert Barnes made the analogy of evidence tampering in the legal sphere, right? So the way you guard against evidence tampering is by accounting for every place the evidence has been throughout the entire judicial process. So there's an accounting and verification process when the evidence is received, and then there's an accounting and verification process of where the evidence is taken, and then there's an accounting of where the evidence is stored, and there's an accounting of who's examined the evidence, and yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. At any point, if that evidence falls out, as it were, from that chain of custody, it is now inadmissible, because it could have been tampered with. Again, it's not a matter of proving that it was tampered with. It's a matter of the fact that it could have been tampered with, and that alone renders the evidence inadmissible. And it's the same with mail-in ballots. You have to have an objective accounting and verification process every step of the way, from the moment the ballot was received by the voter, to how and when it was sent, to how and when it was received, to how and when it was stored, and to how and when it was counted, and where it is now. If at any point that chain of custody is broken, that is by definition an illegal ballot. Not because there's any evidence that tampering did take place, but precisely because tampering could take place. And the third allegation in all of this is, of course, the tabulator and printer failures that plagued Maricopa County on the election day, as well as the mixing of ballots where ballots that were counted were mixed in with ballots that weren't counted. That's the gist of the lawsuit. So what's the remedy to all of this? Given that the judge is going to take the allegations raised by the lawsuit seriously, what is the desired outcome? Well, I'm going to show you exactly what courts have done in just the last couple of years to rectify local election irregularities. But first, I want to take a moment to highlight a way that you can cut through all the ridiculous propaganda that's out there, especially in the new year. My Insiders Club is a censorship-free video platform where I discuss topics I can't share on YouTube and answer your questions in a weekly live stream you don't want to miss. So why should you be a part of the Insiders Club? Well, I'm sharing the stories the mainstream media ignores to help you think clearly about big picture trends from an academic and scholarly perspective. I'm highlighting topics even conservatives aren't addressing and getting to the root of the permanent political class's motivations and lies. You all know too many Republicans are taking pages out of liberal playbooks. They're riding the coattails of patriots only to just turn around and stab us in the back when it really matters the most. Don't let their hypocrisy drive you to think everything is a loss. There's a bright future, and I want to show you live each and every week what that's all about. If you're looking for an uncensored, open conversation discussing the topics no one else is willing to confront, plus bonus video content diving into reports I can't share here, click on the link below and join our Insiders Club today. And I have a special offer for you. Just sign up now and get a 14-day free trial and try it out. Plus, also, you'll get several bonus resources I'll add on as a thank you for joining my Insiders Club community. But it is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Click on that link below or go to insidersclub.turleytalks.com right now and join me and thousands of patriots all around the world. That's insidersclub.turleytalks.com. I look forward to seeing you there. Nearly 20 months after a town councilman was certified the winner of an election in the Florida town of Eatonville, just outside of Orlando, a judge actually ordered that he be removed from his position due to evidence of voter fraud. The judge in this case issued a ruling stating in part that a fellow by the name of Taurus Mack, who was sworn into office on the Eatonville Town Council several months prior, had to vacate his seat so that it could be filled by his challenger, Marlon Daniels. What happened was that Daniels was ahead on election night, only to find out the next morning that he lost after a number of ballots suddenly surfaced for his opponent. He took it to court, and the court found that there were serious discrepancies between ballots and actual voters. And as a result, the judge overturned the election, declaring the so-called winner to now be the loser and the original loser to now be the winner. So there is ample precedent for the courts to step in and rectify a contested election. So that's one option of what can happen here. The other option is simply a runoff, particularly in Maricopa County, where all the problems took place. Again, there's ample historical precedent for that as well. Kari, of course, would be fine with either one, as the lawsuit makes clear. So we'll be keeping a very, very close eye on how things develop here. But right now, there's absolutely no question. Kari is a fighter. She's showing patriots all across the nation how to stand up to the establishment. And for that, in our eyes, she will always, always be a winner. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on Why the Twitter Files Part 5 are the most explosive of them all, yet you're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.